Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's D-Day. If you're watching the replay, maybe put that in. So, type the number 1 in if you knew today was D-Day. Put that in the comments if you knew today was D-Day. I didn't. But because I read every morning for an hour, I did. But as part of my, legacy memory, do I know June 6th is D-Day? I didn't know that. And then, if you were to ask me before this morning, exactly what is D-Day? I might have said, well, that's when we stormed the beach of Normandy. But if you would have asked me, why did we storm the beach of Normandy? I might have said, well, it's World War II. But it's a little more significant than that. At least what I learned this morning, and I'm sure I learned this in history class or something, but I wasn't paying attention. And obviously I haven't been paying that much attention for the last 50, 60 years because I didn't remember it. So, if you know exactly what happened on D-Day and why we were in Normandy on those beaches, you could type the number 2 in the comments. And then, of course, you could go on to pontificate your answer. I'll give you the answer at the end. But my message this morning is about the scale of motivation. So today is day 15 on my new daily dose of salt. If you're new here, what that means is every morning I get up. Well, I always get up, right? But I'm usually up by 4:30, and I read and do email for like an hour and a half, and then when I'm daily dose of salting, I get my headset, I get my hat, I get my sunglasses, I get my tripod, I get my water, I get my phone. Got to have all those things, and I head out on a 4 or 5 mile hike, 3 to 5 miles, let's say. And I hike along the cliffs of Lanai here. This is an old trail here called Fisherman's Trail, thousands of years old. And I hike from our house down to the Four Seasons Hotel. I work out in the gym for 20 or 30 minutes, which I know is pretty intense. And then I hike back to the house, and I'm back by 8 a.m., and then I start my day. Daily dose of salt. So, and I call my podcast Daily Dose of Salt because I pontificate for a few minutes while you get to watch the ocean if you don't want to listen to me. So today is day 15 of Daily Dose of Salt 2. Daily Dose of Salt 1 was a year and a half, 2 years ago. I haven't done anything since. Now I'm back on Daily Dose of Salt 2. And part of the whole context of this is when we start something new, we're always exercising a weak muscle, right? So the catch-22 of motivation is you have to actually get motivated to get motivated. Think about that. So where do you get the motivation to start day 1? Day 1's the hardest. Really is. Maybe day 2's easier than day 1 because, well, you got one under your belt. Day 3's easier than day 2. Now, those of you that have done any of this know, like if you worked out every day at the gym or you've prospected every day, well, that may be true, but somewhere in there around day 8 or 9 or 10 or 12 or 13, you get a little tired of the routine and a little tired of the monotony, kind of like the habit owns us. Okay, this is what I got to do every morning. Maybe I want to do something else, and this morning was one of those mornings for me. The deer were very active outside our bedroom window last night, and the deer here on Lanai, they scream. They bark and they scream like dogs. And of course, our little dogs go crazy when the deer are barking and screaming. And so we didn't get a lot of sleep last night. So, that being said, I slept in till 5 o'clock. I'm usually up at 4:30. And so by 6, I hadn't got all my reading done. And so I didn't want to go hiking this morning at 6. I wanted to just have another cup of coffee and read some more and kind of like ease into my day. I like easing into my day. So this is where the scale of motivation comes in because, folks, Everything we do in life boils down to motivation. And what is motivation? It's that mental, emotional, physical, spiritual chemistry that is an urge for us to act. And it all starts with a story. We start with this story. So we tell a story, we make up a story. And then that story is converted, our mind converts that story to pictures, and the pictures to kind of a movie. And then whatever the movie and the pictures, whatever kind of story they tell and how that impacts our body chemistry actually changes in accordance to the story, in relationship to the story. So if you tell a bad story about hiking at 6 a.m. in the morning, if the story is, I don't want to do that, if the story is, I'm too tired, if the story is, I just want to relax, I just want to have another cup of coffee, oh, wouldn't it be nice if I could just sit here and have another cup of coffee and finish it. If I don't finish my emails, I get back from hiking, I'm behind, I got a full day. That's the story, right? And relative to hiking, that story makes my body physically weak, like the kind of body that wants to sit in a chair, not get out and hike 3 or 4 miles and go to the gym and think of something profound to say on Facebook, which is another stumbling block sometimes, right? So we got this scale. Just think of it like a scale. I can't make my tripod doesn't have feet. So on this side of the scale is, I don't want to go hiking. On this side of the scale is, I want to go hiking. Just think of it as a scale. Now, which one wins? The one that has the most weight. So this story is a very articulate, creative story about why I don't want to go hiking. You don't want to do business development. You don't want to do the work that you need to grow your business. I don't want to talk to people today. I don't want to get on the computer today. I don't want to make phone calls today. I don't want to babysit people today. I don't want to listen to people whining today. I don't want to do any of that today. It'd feel good to kind of have a break from it all, right? I get to kind of do whatever I want to today. That's a story. Makes us feel good. What does that story have you do? It gives weight to no business development. Story over here would be, well, why do you want to talk to people anyway? Why do you want to be consistent? So one of the things I use is I visualize my 30-day calendar, right? That 30-day calendar with a check mark by every day. And one of the things I put on this side is, well, okay, yeah, I'd rather drink another cup of coffee and do some more email, but do I want to do that more than I want to have a check mark every day on my calendar? And the answer for me, that's simple. I'd much rather have a check mark every day on my calendar than sit here and have another cup of coffee. And one of the reasons I go public and I go live on my hike is, if you've noticed, first Daily Dose of Salt and this Daily Dose of Salt, I wrap my hiking and workout into my lives. You all know what I'm doing, right? So if I don't go live, or if I don't go live hiking, I've got a whole crowd of people that I've let down, it's transparent. They know, oh, you didn't hike today. You didn't go live today. You don't get a check mark on your calendar. You're trying to coach and lead us about consistency, but you missed yesterday, buddy. Where were you? What were you doing? I set that all up. Why? Because over here would be disappointing you. Over here on this side would be inspiring you with my consistency. What's more important to me? Inspiring you with my consistency. So that's the scale of motivation. So whenever you find yourself creating a story about why you don't want to do something that is part of the plan, right? You need to do it to get where you want to go. It's part of the success plan. Whenever you find yourself spinning a story that's putting weight on the other side of the scale, it's time to suck it up and get creative and spin more story about why you want to be consistent, why you do want a check mark for today, why you do want to do what you promised yourself you would do, why you do want to do what the success plan requires. Because success is really easy, folks. You set a goal, whatever it is out there, set it, and then figure out, what do I need to do every day to just make progress? Forget about having to achieve the goal on a certain date. That doesn't matter. You can't control that. Too many things going on in the world, right? We don't really care that much about achieving a particular goal. All we really care about as human beings is progress. We got to make progress. If we're not making progress, we're going backwards. There's no stagnation. We're going backwards, we're dying. We're flaking out. We're losing. It's over. We got to go forward. So figure out, what do you need to do every day to just make progress towards your goal? And then create the motivation to do it. And if you find yourself flaking out, scale of motivation. Build a better story. Thanks, Kat. Okay, here's the answer for D-Day. Something interesting to think about. So D-Day is the day that I guess all the Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy, and you've probably seen it on, Saving Private Ryan. Probably the best movie that many of us have seen, where we just threw bodies, thousands and thousands and thousands. We just threw bodies at the beach and the machine guns. We just tried to wear out their guns with bodies. Thousands of men died on D-Day. Why? To try to take that beach. Why? To try to take back France from the Nazis. So you could put in the comments here if any of your family members died in World War II, or even fought in World War II, and were any of them in Normandy. Because what we did on D-Day, June 6th, 78 years ago, is we rallied as a world to save a nation, France. Think about how prominent France is in the world order today. It's like, I don't know, the 5th most important country in the world. And where would France be if we left it in the hands of the Nazis? I don't know. Where would Europe be? Where would we be? I don't know. But the same thing's going on right now with Ukraine and Russia. And yeah, we're sending them arms, but we're not storming the beaches of Normandy. That's out of my league, above my pay grade to decide whether or not we should, but interesting question. D-Day. See you tomorrow.